Every AI lab is hiring for this job. Almost nobody can do it. Let's start with what this job actually is. The title tells you nothing. A forward deployed engineer gets one business to actually use AI, not advising them, not handing over a strategy deck, getting AI running inside the systems their people already use. So the work that was done by hand gets done by the machine. And the demand showed up almost overnight. Postings for this role are up 729% in 12 months. Amazon put $1 billion into a whole department of them. OpenAI's own team went from 2 people in January to 39. Over 100 Y Combinator startups are hiring for it right now. So why can't companies just do this themselves? The tools aren't the hard part. Anyone can sign up for them. Most companies already have. Last year, MIT looked at 300 enterprise AI projects. 95% produced no measurable return. Their conclusion was blunt. The companies caused the failures, not the models. And the failures rhyme. One executive burned a $10 million budget in 3 months. The plan was meant to last a year. His company handed the tools to everybody and left them to it. AI keeps getting bolted onto processes that were already broken, and nobody inside is going to fix that. The engineers have their own backlog. The people running the process stopped seeing its workarounds years ago. So who fixes that? A job that barely existed 3 years ago. And it didn't come from an AI lab. Palantir created this role in 2005. They were selling to the CIA and Army intelligence. Those customers had classified data. They had workflows no engineer at headquarters would ever see. So Palantir stopped sending consultants who couldn't write code. They embedded engineers who could. By 2014, they were running over 100 of them. Anthropic and OpenAI didn't invent this playbook. They copied it. Here's how invisible those workarounds get. Palantir lost a year moving to a new file format. One engineer kept insisting the new one was worse. Nobody could work out why. Until somebody sat and watched her work. She'd been checking her data by double-clicking the files open. The new format had nothing you could double-click. They built her a way to open it that night. She approved the migration 2 days later. So that's the problem. Here's the job. 5 steps. And the first one happens before you build anything. Step 1. Watch how the job is really done. Write down every step in the order it actually happens. Then ask why each step is there. If nobody can give you a concrete reason, you've found a workaround. Somebody added it years ago and no one has questioned it since. Step 2. Decide what should become AI. Step 3. Build for the failures. Step 4. Prove it works. Step 4. Prove it works. Step 5. Put a number on it. Step 1 has a shortcut, and most people skip it. You're looking for volume. Automating something that happens once saves nobody anything. Automating the message that goes out 1,000 times a week, that's where the business actually gets more productive. And you don't have to guess. The company's whole history is sitting in its support tickets. Hand that to a model. It will tell you where the volume is. Step 2 separates people who can do this job from people who can't. Every step you wrote down goes through 3 filters. First, does it follow a fixed rule that has to come out right every time? Then it stays ordinary software. It does not need a model. Second, does somebody have to read something messy and make a judgment call? That's what the model is for. Third, what does it cost when it goes wrong? Because if being wrong is expensive, that step stays with the person. Even when a model could technically do it, run a real process through that. You almost never hand the whole thing over. In one 8-step process, 4 steps ran on their own. 3 ran with a person checking. The last one stayed human. Step 3. Build for the failures. When there's one way something goes right, there are 1,000 ways it goes wrong. Build only for the good path, and what you built is worth nothing. With AI, that mostly means handling the places where the model isn't sure, because it will hand you a confident answer either way, even when it has no idea. Step 4. Prove it works. A model gives a slightly different answer every time you ask, so testing it 3 times tells you nothing. Take real examples out of the process you wrote down, the ones where you already know the right answer. Run the system across all of them. Count how many it got right. Then read the ones it missed and fix those. And step 5, the one people skip and then wonder why the project gets cancelled. Put a number on it. You should be able to say whether this brought money in, or took a cost out, or made a risk smaller. Nothing else counts. Not that it looks modern, not that the team enjoys it. Those are feelings. Feelings don't survive a budget review. Cursor had a customer complain about an agent. It was costing him $2,000 a day. So they asked what it was doing. It was choosing which engineer to send out to fix broken equipment. Then they asked what sending the wrong person cost him. That number was bigger. He'd been looking at what the agent cost, never at what it saved. Now, the money. In the United States, Palantir's version of this role sits around $215,000. Mid-level at a frontier lab is closer to $385. Staff clears $600,000, but 60 to 70% of that is equity. So read the offer carefully. In India, the bands start around 18 to 28 lakhs. Senior runs 55 to 90 plus. The remote roles for the global labs pay the most. So what do you need to be good at? They want people who are wide across business, process and technology, with one area they're genuinely deep in. And they'll tell you the business half gets taught on the job, the technical half doesn't. So the technical floor is the part you clear on your own. And one warning worth taking seriously from a Palantir executive. The person who fails at this job isn't the weak engineer, it's the careful one. The one who wants code that still holds up in 10 years. This job is getting something rough in front of a real user fast, then earning the right to make it solid. It is not a free lunch. Anyone selling it as one hasn't done it. OpenAI's own job spec says up to 50% travel. A lot of people burn out inside the first year. And because these teams are new, the ladder above you often doesn't exist yet. If you want predictable hours and bounded heads down work, this is the wrong job. So here's what to do with all of that. You can start this week without permission from anyone. Find the smallest business you can physically walk into, where you work or somewhere a friend runs. Ask if you can sit for 1 hour, next to the person doing the most repetitive job in the place, while they're actually doing it. Then run those 5 steps on what you saw. What comes out is called an audit. It's a real thing businesses pay for. One real company's process, written down with a number against each step. That document beats a resume, because almost nobody applying has one. Subscribe for more.